within seconds. Nothing will ever be the same. Ever. I'm Ron Pitts. You're about to experience some of the most startling scenes of destruction ever caught on camera. An industrial fire sends thousands of pressurized gas tanks hurling through the air like flaming missiles. In a crash at a racetrack so violent, a car is literally torn in half. You might want to back up from the TV because things are about to get destroyed in seconds. St. Louis, Missouri. On a hot summer day, firefighters respond to a series of explosions at an industrial gas supply company. Inside, thousands of tanks containing propylene, propane, and acetylene are exploding. Blast after blast rocks the neighborhood as fireballs shoot hundreds of feet into the air. Neighbors in a nearby apartment building rush outside to witness the mayhem.
Man, feel it.
Through the smoke, 75-pound tanks can be seen shooting 150 feet into the air like missiles.
Yeah, our building's fine, but these giant oxygen tanks are being projected all the way over here.
In total, 8,000 of them ignite, then explode. Some land harmlessly in the streets.
Dude, oh my God, Lutfi, it's the scariest I've ever experienced in my life, man.
Others smash through brick walls and roofs of the neighboring houses. Firefighters have more than just the plant fire to contend with. The flaming canisters have ignited dozens of fires around the neighborhood. No one is injured in the fires. But one resident suffers a fatal asthma attack caused by the noxious fumes. The initial fire is triggered by defective pressure release valves on tanks of propylene that were stored outside. Heated by the blistering summer sun, the defective valves leak gas. The leaking gas is ignited by static electricity. And the result? A series of explosions that caused $13 million in damages. The 20,000 spectators at the Superbike World Championships expect adrenaline-packed moto action on the winding 2.8-mile track.
Definite, away they go.
What they don't expect is this.
The bike on fire is still going. It's the Armco.
In the world of superbikes, riders hit race car speeds of up to 180 miles per hour, but without the protection a body and roll cage provide. In second place, but moving into the lead on bike number 4, is veteran racer Stefan Mertens. Stefan carves out a turn at 155 miles per hour.
The track and goes down hard. The bike hits the pit wall. Mertens hits the pit wall. The bike on fire is still going. It's the Armco. The petrol tank has split and is burning. It falls off the edge of the track and fortunately falls away from it. Dropping back through the field, Mertens from...
Coming out of the turn, Stefan's rear tire hits a puddle of water, causing it to lose traction.
It's the pit wall.
He skids more than 50 feet before slamming into the concrete barrier.
The bike hits the pit wall. The bike on fire.
His bike, still upright, hits the wall. The gas tank ruptures and bursts into flame.
It's the Armco.
The bike continues another 656 feet down the course. Laying on the track, Stefan takes off his helmet and motions that he's hurt his shoulder.
Is out there somewhere on the Yamaha.
The race continues as rescue crews bring in a stretcher.
Obviously hurt his shoulder. They're trying to get...
Stefan dislocates his shoulder. He's he's back racing the very next week. However, it's the last race for his brand new superbike. It's completely destroyed.
Catches the edge on the track and goes down hard. The bike hits the pit wall. Mertens hits the pit wall.
San Diego, California, 1988. The Del Monte Regatta in Mission Bay has drawn unlimited hydroplane racers from around the globe. These ultra-fast race machines use a combination of aviation engines, specially designed body frames, and a principle known as hydrodynamic lift to achieve high speed. They do it by skimming across the water rather than moving through it. Unlimited hydroplane racers Ron Snyder and John Prevost compete against a third racer. All three are traveling at nearly 170 miles per hour, when a freak wind gust of 65 miles per hour suddenly turns this race to chaos. As they rocket down the straightaway at nearly 170 miles per hour, a freak 65-mile-an-hour gust of wind lifts Prevost on the left and Snyder in the center off the water. Prevost's boat flips 360 degrees in midair. When it comes crashing down, the boat breaks in two. Unlimited hydroplane race boats travel on sheets of air. If too much air gets under the hull at high speeds, it can produce an effect called blowover. This is the first and only time in the history of unlimited hydroplane racing that two boats experience blowover at the same time. Neither man is injured. Both boats are rebuilt and race again. Australian stuntman Ray, the Man of Steel Bauman, has a lifelong dream. He wants to set a new world record by leaping over a line of cars 220 feet long. Ray has made a career out of staging spectacular stunts, which often end with spectacular crashes. But for his record attempt, Ray intends to land on all four wheels after completing the 220-foot jump. Something easier said than done.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Man of Steel, Ray Bowman.
On three separate occasions, Ray goes for the record. And on all three occasions, he fails to land on all four wheels. Today, the Man of Steel is in Calgary, Australia, and determined to achieve his goal. He approaches the ramp at 120 miles per hour. Ray reaches a height of 40 feet, but the heavy coupe he's driving pitches forward. The car lands almost vertically and splits in two. The piece holding the nitrous-boosted V8 is sheared off from the back of the car. His crew rushes in. They frantically search for signs of life within the twisted wreck.
He's alive.
Ray survives, but suffers a broken leg, broken ribs, and lacerations. Although Ray eventually goes on to achieve the 220-foot record, his fans will never forget the 4 times he did it. Seth Inslow is one of today's biggest stars in freestyle motocross. But back in the mid-90s, Seth was a freestyle rookie looking to get attention from the pros.
No idea what he's doing.
Dune, near Baker, California, 1994. After seeing a video of his freestyle hero jumping this massive sand dune, Seth decides he wants to try it himself. Seth's takeoff appears flawless, but it's his landing that gets him into trouble. launches off the dune at 60 miles per hour, which is too fast. As a result, he overshoots his mark by 100 feet. Upon impact, Seth slams his head forward into the bike's crossbar and breaks his nose.
Josh, what gear were you in, bro?
I don't know. I've never seen it like that happen to a bike.
Seth also suffers a sprained back.
Got some serious problems. You need to work out with yourself.
Because of his willingness to take on the pro-level jump, Seth gains the notoriety he seeks. The F-14A Tomcat. For over 30 years, this nimble twin-engine aircraft was the U.S. Navy's primary fighter jet. The Tomcat can reach 1,544 miles per hour, more than twice the speed of sound. The Pacific Ocean, 800 miles west of Guam. A cameraman on board the destroyer USS John Paul Jones captures footage of a Tomcat participating in a training exercise. 800 feet above the water, the pilot and his radar intercept officer approach the destroyer at 760 miles per hour. As the jet nears the sound barrier, it produces a vapor cone. Then, just a few miles per hour short of breaking the sound barrier, the $36 million plane explodes into a fireball. This video image suffers from transmitter interference from the ship's electronics. It offers another angle on the explosion. Seconds later, the chutes of the pilot and the radar intercept officer are spotted descending. But the ship's crew doesn't know if the men survived the bailout.
I just hope they're all right.
A rescue team is sent to locate them. A flare signals that at least one survived. When the rescue boat finally reaches the airmen, both are found to be alive. Amazingly, they were able to manually eject at over 750 miles per hour as the jet disintegrates around them. Both suffer first and second degree burns to their hands and faces. Investigators believe the aircraft's afterburners ignited an oil leak, causing the explosion. The pilot and the radar intercept officer recover from their injuries and return to flying. It's the annual I-500 Snowmobile race in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Since 1969, it's the world's premier snowmobile racing event. During this 500-mile marathon, snowmobiles reach speeds of 100 miles per hour. They race on a 1-mile oval track constructed over a 3-week period by spraying nearly 2 million gallons of water on snow. When it's done, the Ice Bowl plays host to some of the most intense snowmobile action on the planet. The night before this 1996 race, the temperature drops to a bone-chilling minus 38 degrees. By morning, the extreme cold creates an icy fog around the track, limiting visibility and creating extremely treacherous conditions for the racers. Officials wave a flag as a warning to snowmobilers to slow down. The riders in front hit the brakes, while those in the back don't see the flag. Confusion reigns as one rider is knocked off his snowmobile, and another off his feet by the roughly 500-pound machine. drivers lay on the freezing track. Ambulances arrive and treat the injured. Several riders suffer fractures and lacerations, but all survive. 5 snowmobiles were involved in this crash, making it one of the worst wrecks and coldest days in the race's history. The funny car races at California's historic Baylands Raceway are an exercise in speed and survival. Funny car dragsters can hit speeds of 220 miles per hour and finish a quarter-mile run in less than 7 seconds. He doesn't know it yet, but veteran racer Mike Grieco is about to run the last race of his career. Seconds after taking off, he's knocked unconscious behind the wheel. It isn't visible in the footage, but one of Mike's tires is wobbling so hard it causes him to hit his head on the car's roll cage. He's knocked unconscious with his foot still on the accelerator. At roughly 150 miles per hour, Mike's dragster veers hard right into the guardrail. The car shatters on impact, breaking into 2 large pieces. The body of Mike's funny car ends up on one side of the guardrail, and the twisted chassis on the other, including the bent framework of his roll cage. Mike is trapped inside. It takes rescuers several minutes to extract him from the wreckage. Mike suffers a severe concussion, not from the crash, but from hitting his head on the roll cage. He spends the next 4 months recovering from the head injury. After this crash, Mike's family insists he retire from drag racing. But if the money and opportunity arise, Mike says he would consider getting back in the driver's seat. Sonora, Mexico. A group of friends have come to Dune Arena to indulge in the wild sport of sand driving. Adventurous 4x4 enthusiasts try to seek out and conquer the steepest sand dunes around. But one novice driver is about to learn the hard way how not to ride up a dune. The driver breaks one of the first rules of sand driving by climbing the dune at an angle instead of going straight up. The tires sink into the sand, a condition known as sandbogging. The vehicle tips further, then gravity becomes the driver. The 2-ton SUV flips over 10 times before it comes to rest upright. Friends and onlookers rush in to help. The driver is pulled out of the SUV. His injuries are minor, mostly bruises and scratches. As for his SUV, even after suffering severe body damage, it's still drivable. I'm Ron Pitts, and thank you for watching Destroyed in Seconds.